Hello, welcome back to another episode of Financial Fashion Talk Podcast. And I'm the CEO, Mr. Best.
CFO, Mr. Best.
And we got somebody new. We got a special guest on today. And we're glad to introduce her for the very first time. She's also an entrepreneur. She's also a cook. So we want to introduce what name you want to go by.
Hi, I'm Chelsea.
Okay, glad to have her. Somebody that'll add value to the show. And we're going to talk about some good things. But before we get into our topic, it's some things that's going on that caught my attention before we got on the show. And it really saddened my heart. And I wanted to bring it up on the show because there's a lot going on in the state of Mississippi right now. And we want to keep the inmates in prayer, because they're living under conditions that's not human. Like, they're not even living like humans. They have people living like animals in these prisons. So we all need to say a prayer for those inmates. Bodies coming up missing, people dying, no water, no power. And it's crazy, right? You heard about that. You heard about it, didn't you?
Yeah, man. Yeah, that was crazy when I saw the picture, man, of all the stuff that's going on inside there, man. I couldn't imagine living in that condition, man.
Nah, I also put the history behind the Parchment State Prison Penitentiary. That's the name of it, Parchment State Prison Penitentiary. Mm-hmm. But it's like it's been having a history behind that prison. Like this isn't new. Like it haven't been this extreme until now, but like in times past, they give inmates like larger sentences. Like somebody this year, bro, they just got sentenced 12 years for a cell phone that got past the guard line that they didn't even confiscate from him. So he got to the cell trying to call his wife from his cell phone. They gave him 10 years just from having a cell phone that they didn't even confiscate.
Wow. That's crazy, man.
So it's a lot of stuff going on, man. So we just wanted to keep that stuff in prayer. But we glad to be back. We feeling good. We feeling awesome. I know I'm glad to be back. What about y'all? Episode 15, Monday we didn't get a chance to be on due to different circumstances. We were going to get on Wednesday, but nevertheless, we on tonight, and it's somebody's birthday today. It's our CFO. We need to get some hearts. We need to get some hearts going. We need to get some hearts flowing. We need everybody on here to tell our CFO Riley Best happy birthday.
Happy birthday!
How old are you today, bro? How old are you today?
I'm old enough.
Old enough.
Hey, but we thank God. Hey, man, what you want to do with your new year of life? You know what I'm saying? New year, Lord bless you to say a new year. Like, what would you want to do differently, like, in this new year for you?
Shoot, man, I want to live better than I've been living.
In what ways? I mean, elaborate.
In every way. Because I feel like the way that it was going, it wasn't in the, I guess, right direction, man. I don't know. But I just want to be better, man, all around. Like, you know what I'm saying?
That's good.
I feel that.
Yeah, that's it.
I feel that.
You see room for growth.
I feel that. Now, we're going to get into our topic. And this is a discussion that's going to cause a lot of people to have different perspectives. Because of the way we're talking about it, it's coming from a personal standpoint, also from a younger person standpoint. So for all of our adults out there, we want to try to relate. We want y'all to try to relate to what we're saying also. So we're going to talk about actually from a younger person's perspective, like with all the things that we're faced in society, right? Mm-hmm. Like, how do you find yourself? Like, how do you establish an identity for yourself? Like, what are some problems that keeps us from doing that? I mean, I'm not asking you that question. I'm just saying we're about to have a discussion about that. Yeah. Because what I'm noticing, bro, is that from generation to generation, there's a reason why, like, it be so far apart. Thanks. You see what I'm saying? Like, if we look at the generation of right now, you always hear the older people say, it's something wrong with the millennials. You know what I'm saying? Like, the millennials, they just weaker. You see what I'm saying? Like, a lot of older people have a lot to say about millennials, and coming from a millennial, I feel like we're misunderstood because we face things today that people didn't face 20 years ago. Correct? You feel me? Like older people feels that the philosophy of how they were raised will still work today. And in some ways it does.
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
Yeah, in some ways it does.
You can't fully discredit it.
Nah, I'm not gonna ever discredit some of the remedies and some of the ways that things were done in the past. That's not what I'm saying. But my point is, like, the world is evolving.
True.
You know what I'm saying? And like, as young people, we grow up so differently now because now we have the media more so now. Right. You know what I'm saying? Mass media is controlling the world. Right. The trends of the world is controlling our young people. So we not only have to fight with what our parents want us to do. We got to fight with our peers. Yeah. We got to fight what Instagram say. We got to fight what Facebook say. Yeah. So I'm saying, like, to a certain degree, I feel that parents have to understand us on a certain level, on a more personal level now than they would do back in the day when we didn't have this much of a fight.
True. Yeah, I agree with that.
So I'm saying, I'm tying that into, like, due to what we have to face as young people, like, this is where parenting come into play. Okay, like, do you feel that a parent should have complete control of their child's life? Or like at what age should the parent like give a child an opinion? Or somewhat of like, I hear what you're saying, like an opportunity to express himself.
Well, I feel like this, man, like if you train them in that aspect, then I don't believe like you have to give them a time for that. You know what I'm saying? Like, show them how to do it. Like teach them how to do it. You know what I'm saying? And then when it come time to do it, like you done taught them the way to respond responsibly.
Okay, now this is what I'm saying in the question. I want you to bring it more home. Like, don't not only think about your children right now, because you're the only one at the table that got children.
Right.
So kind of like make your answer kind of join in with how you were raised and how we were raised in a certain way. You see what I'm saying? Like, and a lot of not just us, but a lot of people in general are raised like it's either one way or the highway.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Like, you don't have a say so, you don't have an opinion. You know, sometimes in certain situations, you know, you're not able to be heard because of you being a child.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And I understand, like, you are an adult. You see what I'm saying? But to a certain degree, I feel like due to what we are faced with now and the perspectives of things are different coming from our perspective, I feel like we should have more of a voice now, more so because different factors are into play.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But it has to take the actual parent understanding, you know. It has to understand, you know, not just the kid, but just understand what's surrounding the kids. You know,
environment.
Like, just understand the environment. Like it can still be incorporated. You know what I'm saying? Like we was raised, it could still be incorporated. You know what I'm saying? But it's a lot of things that's going on now that like older people like really don't know about. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, now let's take it to this. To a certain degree, you feel like you have to trust your child, right?
True.
You see what I'm saying? So I'm gonna make an analogy. A plant, and once you put a seed in the soil, right? It takes a process for that seed to turn into something.
Right.
And you have to watch its growth.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So it's the same thing with a child. I feel like you have to give them room. You know, when you teach a child something, you got to give them room to learn that what you taught them. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And I feel like sometimes parents can be in fear of their child learning on their own.
Yeah. I mean, I can understand that.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, that's when that control come in. You see what I'm saying? Like, most parents fear their child learning things on their own that they didn't get a chance to learn. You feel me? So they fearing, like, I hope my son don't do this or fall into that. So they trying to micromanage your life, trying to control your life, control your path as much as they can out of fear of you not ending up the same way they did. But really, they're not giving you that. You know what I'm saying? You need room to grow.
They're limiting.
You need room to make choices. You need room, because if you don't never leave the nest, bro, you'll never know how to handle situations on your own. And you see what I'm saying? And that caused problems in a lot of young people's lives. You know what I'm saying? Once you get out the house, you never had that type of control, or you never had that type of you didn't have the type of automaticity that, you know, to make your own decisions.
Right.
So you never had accountability.
Right.
You never had responsibility.
Right.
So once you get out and have responsibility by yourself, you don't know what to do. You run into walls and you don't know what to do. And you see what I'm saying?
Right.
Because now you got to find yourself on your own.
Right. Right.
Because you was never given the room to learn anything.
Right.
But would you have anything to say about that?
I just think that, I mean, I'm not a parent or anything like that, but when it comes down to your kid, I feel like you should know your child and know when it's right to allow them to just be the individual that they are. You know, have open-mindedness to the fact of, okay, yeah, we are in a new day. You know, the principles of life don't change, but the way that we teach each other and the way that we deal with one another, it does change, because kids nowadays, or even us in general, we're well more exposed to things that more people were exposed to back in the day, you know. So kids are dealing with more, they're open to more, they see more things or whatever. I think that you should just have more of an open mind about, okay, this is an actual person that's going to grow into a human, you know.
Right.
They have their own likes, their own wants, their own ambitions, you know, and that should be an open field for them to be that person that they are and get to know who they are as a child. Because when you get older or whatever, you scrambling trying to figure out who the heck you are, because you've been put in a box as to who you need to be. You need to go to school, you need to do this, you know, find a career, work, blah, 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 blah. You know, you're structured growing up, like this is the way you're supposed to be or whatever. And when you get to where you're supposed to be, and you're supposed to be, you know, being the adult that they built you for, many crumble because it's like, that's not really who I am.
Right.
You know, I was groomed to be a doctor, but I want to be a painter. You know, I was groomed to be, you know, a veterinarian, but I just want to dance all my life. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But those doors and those conversations, I feel like, aren't so open all the time. At least not, you know, like, I mean, when I grew up, I was open to, you know, say certain things, but then again, it was like, this is how it gotta go, or this is how you have to do this, or this is how you know, you gotta go on this path. Meaning that you can't, if you want to go right, no, we want you to go left. If you want to go left, no, we want you to go right. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's more of like a, you know, telling everybody like how you gotta do this, but not allowing people to be who they are. And if you don't know who you are, how can you expect to get through life? How can you, you know, find out your gifts, your talents, you know, because you don't get to know who you are.
Right.
That's
real. That's real. That's very real. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. And so we want to continue to break that down, bro, because it's like, now let's go back to that control. Like you just said, you grow up with a predetermined life pretty much. Like, it's already set in stone. I want my child to be XYZ, and we're going to hold them to that. You know, we're going to hold them accountable to that. We're going to make sure you go to school. You know what I'm saying? But, hey, I understand it from a parent's perspective a little, because parents love children. Parents love their children, bro. And they only want what's best for us.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And this is not to disrespect any parent.
No.
Like, we love our parents, and we know that they want the best for us, but we also have to be honest and accept the fact that some philosophies are outdated. And, you know, now you got to really be in children's life now, because, like, your child can really be living in your house and you don't even know
what's going on.
Like, you don't know what's going on in your child's life, because, bro, it's so much stuff that's bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we have these now. So you have to have a more personal relationship with your children than you ever had to have before.
Yeah, that's true, man.
And you so that personal relationship means that you actually have to talk.
Yeah, that's true.
And connect.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like,
and not be muted.
right, and
Because you're a
not
child.
right, and not say, okay, you're a child, on like just shut off what you gotta say because you're a child. Like, nah, it's really a time to really listen now because children are dealing with things that they don't talk about.
Yeah.
Or not comfortable even talking about. So like it gotta go to another level now. Like it gotta be a real personal, you know,
a real big issue.
You gotta really know your child. Like you gotta know them.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And that way, that trust to be there. And see, that's gonna be that establishes a certain level of independence in them, bro. Because you trust in them and they trust in you. Y'all talking to each other. Then they're more receptive to what you have to offer them as a parent.
I mean, all of this is true. You know, it's true, but it's like what is the like I'm trying to see, man, because
you're trying to see the whole bigger picture.
Yeah. See, it's coming from a perspective, man, like you know your child, you know, from a child. You know what I'm saying? Like you pay attention to your child and like you see the person that they are or could possibly be.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like you see that from a child. But now what do you say to a parent that grew up in a stern household, you know what I'm saying, and has a 15-year-old like living in today, you know what I'm saying? Like
you're saying if the parent came from a stern household and raising a 15-year-old in today's world?
Right, in today's world.
Well, I mean, I don't feel like, yeah, that parent could have been raised in a stern household, but necessarily that parent isn't that child. So what worked for that parent may not work for that child.
Correct.
So if you put all that sternness, let's just say you have like, because see how you were raised, you have two different people, you know, that come from two different lifestyles or whatever. So of course you got your mother and your father, their makeup makes that one child, right? Okay, so let's just say the mother came from the stern household and the father came from like a not so stern, but maybe more on the loose side or whatever. You end up with a kid who has the mentality to want to be more wild than subjective, like how the mother was. That might not always work for that kid.
That's fact.
And they may feel like they're in a box all the time when it comes to their mother. Now, they can talk to their father or whatever, because the father is understanding and open because of where he came from or whatever. And he put that out there or whatnot. But then you have that mother, unless she wants to, you know, break that cycle and just be her own individual or whatever, you still be stern but still be loose at the same time or whatnot, she gonna still be that same sternness. And that kid gonna be like, bro, I'm suffocating because I feel like if I be who I am, that, you know, open and wildfowl that I am, how you gonna take me? Like, will you accept me?
See, this is another thing. Like, what I'm saying.
I'm saying you have to understand.
But see, that's what I'm saying. Like every household is not the same.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So you got single mothers, you got single fathers. You know what I'm saying? Like you got it's a whole lot of factors that play into it.
No, the point of what I'm trying to make, like, that's true. That's very true. Like we got single parents, even single fathers, and you got even some that's married and got both parents and still have like problems with their children.
Right.
But the thing I'm trying to bring out is that the understanding of the child. Like it doesn't really matter how you was brought up. That's the point I was saying. Like forget all about how you was brought up, because that child is not you.
Well, I mean, it's according to the parents.
No, I'm saying, bro, like it's a whole different time. Like you got to consider that. You got to consider that at first. But while your child is growing up, like you got to understand him and who, like, because he might not be nothing like you. You don't know. Right. You really don't know.
Right. That's true. But what I'm saying is the result where you gonna get that from is according to the parent.
Yes, but I'm saying like regardless of what type of parent it is, they still have to understand the child. That's what I'm saying.
Well, all I'm speaking about is the position that the child is in.
Well, okay, what position?
You know what I'm saying? Like, like like the child is not the parent. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
The child is not the parent. So like it's based upon the parent, you know what I'm saying? Like the production of the child. Like not only did you produce the child, you know what I'm saying, but you gotta like structure the child. You gotta, you know what I'm saying?
Facts.
But the situation for each child is not the same. So what we talking about, you know what I'm saying, how parents should understand the child, and that would be a great help. Is that's good. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with that. But all I'm saying is like all the like the children are in different, it's in different situations.
Right. But still, but what we're saying is like, regardless of the situation, like we had, okay, prime example.
Okay.
Mama had 3 boys, right?
Right.
Are we all the same?
No.
You think Mama knew it was gonna be as different as we are from each other?
No.
Exactly. So I'm saying, like, regardless of how different our personalities were, regardless of that,
Right.
she still had to understand us individually,
Right.
regardless of where we were in life, regardless of how we saw things, like regardless of where she was in disposition, regardless of her whether she was a single parent or not. She still, as her children and as a parent,
Right. Right.
you know what I'm saying? Like, she got to understand us.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. Regardless.
Yeah.
I think what it is that G saying that yes, of course, the child, you do have to structure the child, you do have to raise up that child.
Right.
Of course,
Right.
definitely not taking away from the principles of actual life. Yes, that has to be taught to a child. I think the part that John is making is that being more understanding or open to who your child is.
Right.
And allowing them to be able to be more understanding of who they are as well.
Like you
Well,
might have
with your structure.
Like you might have a structure for them.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not their life.
But what if they rebel against that? Like, what if that structure is not who they like want to be? Like,
I mean, that's true. That's true. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like every child should be like what they aspire to be. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
But
I'm
you
saying I'm saying like I'm trying to bring it home, bro. Like I'm saying the whole bigger picture is like, how do you expect for a person to find themselves when they never be understood. They never have an opportunity to give themselves a chance. Like, because that structure that you're talking about is always forced on them.
Yeah, but what I'm really getting at is just the basic principles of it. You know what I'm saying? Like just the basic principles of it. You know what I'm saying? Like being obedient.
Well, no, we're not saying no. He's not saying not to be obedient.
No. But what I'm saying is like because I have a tendency to be like go overboard sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Like in parenting, like I go overboard sometimes, and it's like, man, I didn't have to do that. You know what I'm saying? So
I don't say it's necessarily about actual parenting.
It's
yeah, too, because that as
too.
well. But I don't feel like it's more so of like telling people how to parent their kid. It's just allowing your kid to be who they are and be understood, and them understanding who they are and what they like and what they interest them, because that creates a healthy mind of what I want to do with the rest of my life.
That's true.
Because they have that option to figure it. Because like I see, like with myself, had I been able to have the freeness or the openness to just figure out what I wanted to do as a kid, well, I ain't got to worry about bills and the responsibility of life or whatever. When I became that adult and it was time to be who I needed to be, I'd be a boss already. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Groomed up to that point. But see, I think a lot of times where you come up, you're told to just do it the way that you're told. And you do that, and then you get in college or whatever, you have so many kids switching major after major after major after major because they don't know what the heck they want to do in life. Because they were never asked in life, or like probably had that open door to just be them and figure it out. Then when they had had shelter, when they had food and everything was provided for them. Because it's hard, when you become an adult, you get away from what you want to do and you get into the what you have to do.
Facts.
to live life. You know what I'm saying? Because you feel like, okay, well, I'm an adult now. I don't have nowhere to live. Everybody's looking at me to, take care of myself. The responsibilities of life start hitting you once you're an adult. You really don't have much time to think about, oh, what's my gift? What's my talent? What I really want to do with life. Because you bottled down with the world of life.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah.
I want to make this. I want to make.
But see, this is what.
Hold that thought,
okay,
bro.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna go ahead and just tell them that we're not speaking from a parent. We're not trying to give advice to parents per se. We're speaking from a younger person's perspective on how being raised could be a pressure. Like it can be so controlled to the point where you have difficulty finding who you are. That's the perspective I'm coming from. Like being raised in a controlled like environment to the point where like
I guess where where we kind of clashing at is the gap. What's like our age gap. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I don't
mean,
feel
you
like
got kids.
Yeah, I don't feel like
that's what I'm trying to say. I'm saying that's another perspective that you could have with some people that have children. But I'm saying, but you've been young before.
Yeah,
that's
true.
What I'm saying.
That's
like
true.
You've grown up before. That's what I'm speaking about. Like you have to. That's what I'm telling you. Go back to how you were growing up and see like did you feel like you had problems like kind of figuring out what you want to do with your life?
Yeah, I did.
Why? I'm saying like why you think that happened? Like I'm saying it was a reason why you had difficulty figuring that out.
Because I wasn't in the environment that structured it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm getting somewhere.
Yeah, that's all. That's it to me. You know what I'm saying?
So what type of structure you feel like that's needed for that to happen? Like for that not to happen?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like
that's what we're talking about. That it's a discussion, bro. Like this is no wrong or right. It's like we're getting to that point, bro, where we're talking about okay, how do we make it easier for the younger generation to find themselves? Like, how do we put them in a better position? Like
was there ever a time?
Well, I mean, I put it like this, man.
What could have been better for you? What could have placed you in a better position?
Being trained, like how to use money.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Learning how to pay bills. You know what I'm saying? You can learn how to pay bills and do it in a manner where it's not stressful to you. You know what I'm saying? You can teach that. Just a lot of things that bog like you down individually as an adult. You know what I'm saying? You can teach your children, you know what I mean, how to maneuver in that environment, of being an adult. But doing it like more strategically because you already been through it. So I'm gonna train you how to do it better than I did. You know what I'm saying? Like just like that, man. Just teach them life from your life.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you this.
Okay,
But what I'm saying, okay, that's just the basic principle.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because I wasn't forced like, yeah, you going to college. I didn't have to deal with that.
I'm glad you actually went there because that's what I was trying to get to. This is gonna make you understand what we're saying, bro. Me as a prime example. I went through school, you know what I'm saying? I did that. I got to college. I graduated with an associate's. But then I realized that it wasn't what I wanted to do no more. So as a child, at that very moment, I made the decision to do something I wanted.
Right.
So that's the distinction that I'm saying. Now you raised your child up. This is an example. You raising your child up with that structure that you was talking about. Now your child is growing up and he's becoming of age.
Right.
And now he's getting ready. What if he makes that distinction to say, "Daddy, like this is what I want to do," and it goes against your structure. What you told him, it goes against what you've been wanting him to do his whole life.
But I'm saying, okay.
But I'm saying, like, yeah, it goes against that. But he's coming into his own though. Like this is what he's telling you. This is what he want to do.
Right.
So at that moment, like, do you feel the need to say, "Nah, you gonna do this," or are you gonna try to hear him out, like try to look into what he's talking about, like yeah, I hear you, sir.
Yeah, I would.
So okay, that's the distinction that I'm making. Like, you feel like that will give him better results if you look into what he's talking about, or should you just shut him off and say, "Nah, this is a structure we practice, and this is how we're gonna stay. We're gonna stay just like this." Or
No, I understand what he want to do.
I'm saying, like,
Yeah, I look into
it look better.
Yeah.
You think he'll get better results? That's what I'm saying. Like,
oh yeah, most definitely.
We see that, yeah. See, that's him having a voice.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Like, when he made that distinction, daddy, like, I don't think this is what I want to do, like, for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
But I do have this idea. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't just be like, nah, just because you might not, because you might.
No. I mean, I understand what you're saying. You're just saying support him. Support him.
Basically, you got to hear. Basically, he have a voice now.
Right.
Now you know what he wants.
Okay. I mean, I can understand that. Yeah.
But see, based on what he wants, just shaping him to who we're going to become.
Right.
So I'm saying, like, if you shut that off, if that be shutting off, if that gets shut off, like what?
I mean, that's true.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Because you are you're like one of the most influential figures in his life.
Right.
So by you shutting that off, he gonna shut that off to himself also.
Right.
Like you saying no, like, nah, you gonna do this, so he gonna disregard whatever you told him not to do. Like, yes, sir. You feel me? Because he's still looking up to daddy.
Yeah.
And you want to impress daddy. You see what I'm saying? So now he's still, it's still controlled. You don't really see it like that. You just see it as you being a father. But that's basically saying, I don't really care what you want. You're doing what your daddy wants you to do. Because I feel like it's best. But you ain't, like, you still could have had the last say so. You still could have, it could have still been what you said so in the end, but why not hear what he wanted? Like, why not listen? You feel me? Like, why not hear him out? Like, let me check out what my son wanted. Like, let me see. This is what he said he wanted to do. Let me get out of myself. Like, I know I wanted his life to be a certain way, but let me hear him out. Like, he might be on to something. You see what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. I feel like if we do that, like, I feel like if we get personal with children like that, or younger people, you don't even have to be their parent. It can just be somebody that look up to you, or, it's a lot of young people that we are around. Just being an example or anything. It can be anybody that's younger than you. You see what I'm saying? Like, just to have that voice. You see what I'm saying? Just to listen out to what they want. Like, you might not agree. That's true. You might not want to hear it, but it is what it is. Like, but just hear them out. You feel me?
Yeah.
Like, just hear the children out, and I feel like that'll make a bigger change. It'll make a change, bro, in the next generation, to make it easier for them to be okay with themselves and finding themselves and trusting the decisions that they're gonna make later on in life. Because if they never, like, bet on themselves, if you never teach your child to bet on themselves and bet on their wants in life and their desires in life, then they're not gonna go after, like, it's gonna be hard for them to go after stuff besides the stuff you told them about. They're gonna be in a box. They're gonna be on the surface, like what we was talking about. What you taught them is gonna be the only thing they go with. But if you let them venture out and let them dream and let them want things, you feel me?
Right.
Like, it'll be easier for them. We'll put them in a better position, to find themselves and, be okay with the purpose and their gifts and their talents that they have, bro.
Nah,
and not even just that, though. Like, it just listening, I feel like, period, will groom them better with communication as well in an adult life. Because I've noticed within myself, like, I'm not the best communicator or whatever. And not to say that it is due to a parent bringing up or anything like that, but when you're being when like he was saying, how you have your parents or whatever, the ones that you look up to, or whatever, and like, this is my daddy or this is my mom, like, they're listening to me. It opens up you to be a listener yourself, versus, like, you get into an argument with a person, or if you a whole adult now or whatever. Let's just say, like, when you were a kid, you were always just shut out. Whatever you had to say was just muted all the time. So when you get older or whatever, and you get in a conversation with somebody else, you don't want to hear nothing nobody got to say. Because you've been muted all your life. Nah, anybody been hearing me? I ain't been hearing you. But it's not like you necessarily thinking that it's you develop that unconsciously.
Facts.
Like, you become a person that don't want to listen to nobody all the time. Because you were never listened to.
Facts.
I want to listen to. I ain't finna listen to nobody. Nobody listen to me. You know what I'm saying? You kind of develop those kinds of habits and traits that can be toxic to your growth in life. Period.
This is true. But that's an environment. You know what I'm saying? That's the environment. Like, right. I said, like, it all depends on the environment.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? But It's sad to say. I'm just speaking off a reality basis. You know what I'm saying? Not just coincidence, but like it's that this would be good, but it's just that for the generation, man, it's like so many kids that are raising kids. You know what I'm saying? So like that's another contribution, you know what I'm saying, to the demise of the delinquents. You know what I'm saying? Like it is, bro. You know, because if a child is raising a child, but the child was never ever raised to be an adult, then like everything you getting on your own. You know what I'm saying? So it's
Yeah, it's messed up, man. And see, that's why we're talking about this. You feel me? Like, that's why it has to change.
yeah, I agree
You know what I'm
100%.
saying?
I agree
Because,
100%. But if you don't have that,
little by little, you know what I'm saying? Us
true that,
personally first,
yeah,
you see what I'm saying? It starts with us. I'm not saying like, oh, you're going to hear this video and you know what I'm saying? And it's going to be 1,000 families from this video that just start listening to their children. Like, man, nah, that ain't what I'm saying. I'm saying like personally, like we're increasing our awareness of this issue.
Most definitely.
And with us acknowledging that it is an issue, we're spreading the knowledge, we're spreading the awareness of it. So that, you know what I'm saying, with us, you know, incorporating it in our lives. I don't have children, but I know a lot of young people.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So you don't have to incorporate it as a parent, not just as a parent, but you can incorporate it as an older person who has younger people looking up to him.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So this can be used in anything. Like, younger people deserve a voice, you know what I'm saying? Because it's a lot of stuff going on, bro. And we can't just all the time go with the I'm an adult and you're a child kind of attitude. You got to really listen. You feel me? Because it'd be a lot of things going on in life, man. But man, hey, what a great conversation. What a great conversation. I don't know if we had some comments. We had a lot of statements or whatever. But man, great convo. It's getting it's about that time though. It's about that time. We thank you guys for tuning in. Such a great and insightful conversation. Different perspectives. We had a female perspective. We had just a younger person perspective, and we had a person that actually have kids, has experience with children. You know what I'm saying, on the podcast also. So we had 3 different perspectives coming and talking about this discussion. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you for tuning in. It's the CEO, Mr. Best.
CFO, Mr. Best.
And I'm Chelsea.
Hey, goodbye. We out of here. See you guys next week.